Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So it's official, Novak Djokovic has lost his second appeal, this time in the federal court. Now he will be deported and will miss out on playing in the Australian Open in 2022. So one of the main reasons why he lost this case was because Immigration Minister Alex Hawke said that his presence, Novak Djokovic's presence, would foster an anti-vaccination sentiment and it would undermine everything the country's done to get vaccinated so far. He's really putting a lot of pressure on Novak Djokovic, saying that one person, one high-profile person, would encourage millions of people to not get vaccinated, even when Australia is nearly, a lot of states are over 90-something% vaccinated. Novak Djokovic will be deported, will not be playing in the Australian Open, and has lost this federal court case to overturn his visa cancellation again. So let's take a look at some of these articles. So Novak Djokovic faces deportation after federal court throws out visa challenge. This is on the ABC. Novak Djokovic has lost a bid to stay in Australia after the federal court upheld the government's decision to cancel the tennis star's visa. A judicial review of Alex Hawke's decision to cancel the tennis star's visa was heard by the full bench of the federal court today. In a short hearing just before 6 p.m. Eastern, the court ruled against Djokovic. It was a unanimous decision of the 3 judges. Reasons for the decision have not yet been published. The Serbian star, who now faces deportation, released a statement shortly after the decision saying he was extremely disappointed with the ruling. Now we have a statement here from Tracy Holmes, obviously been covering this story as well. So here's what it says. I'm extremely disappointed with the court ruling to dismiss my application for judicial review of the minister's decision to cancel my visa, which means I cannot stay in Australia and participate in the Australian Open. I respect the court's ruling and I will cooperate with the relevant authorities in relation to my departure from the country. I'm uncomfortable that the focus of the past weeks has been on me and I hope that we can all now focus on the game and tournament I love. I would like to wish the players, tournament officials, staff, volunteers and fans all the best for the tournament. Finally, I'd like to thank my family, friends, team, supporters, fans and my fellow Serbians for your continued support. You've been a great source of strength to me. Chief Justice James Allsop stressed the court was ruling on the lawfulness and legality of the decision, not whether it was the right decision. He said, it is no part of the function of the court to decide upon the merits or wisdom of the decision. So he said the court would not be in a position to deliver its reasons today, and Djokovic has been ordered to pay the costs. That's what happens generally to the losing side in court. They got to pay the costs, which will not be small having it in the federal court. So he was listed to play a fellow Serbian on Rod Laver Arena tomorrow in the opening round of the Australian Open. He'll now be replaced by a so-called lucky loser, randomly drawn from the 4 highest ranked players who lost in the final round of qualifying. So now they're going to switch up the whole draw. So the main argument that Novak's lawyers gave was Mr. Hawke, Alex Hawke, the MP, had misinterpreted media reports about Djokovic's views on vaccination and the level of support he receives from anti-vaccination groups. Because what we heard was Djokovic's presence in Australia would incite anti-vaccination sentiment. So what Novak's lawyers were particularly critical of was the minister's reliance on a BBC article as evidence Djokovic opposed vaccines. He argued the article was written before vaccines were available and it actually showed Djokovic had an open mind and did not believe himself to be an expert. He criticised the minister's failure to ask Djokovic himself about his views. But the minister's legal team argued there was ample evidence of Djokovic's well-known stance on vaccination, including the fact he had refused to get vaccinated himself, and that the minister had no obligation to ask him about his views. And now this one's on news.com.au, which is saying that the Australian government has been slammed for its handling of the Novak Djokovic saga. Following the news, he'll be deported and will miss the Australian Open. So this could have been his 21st Grand Slam. He could have won, could have been the most winning champion of all time. Let's see what some people have been saying. Nick Kyrgios, double vaccinated Australian tennis player who just caught COVID. So obviously something works very well at stopping the spread. Now everyone's saying, just get vaccinated, just get vaccinated. It's simple, just get vaccinated. But it's like the people who are vaccinated just caught COVID. So it's so backwards, this thinking. It's like the law says if you get vaccinated, you can come into the country. But I'm talking on just a logical standpoint. He's not vaccinated. He just had COVID. So technically, if you look at the ATAGI guidelines, which they spoke about in this case, it says if you get COVID while you're about to receive your shots or between shots, it recommends that you don't actually get it, the vaccine. It's just so upside down the world we live in that Novak Djokovic, unvaccinated player, can't come into the country and play in the Australian Open, but double vaccinated players are catching COVID, so now they're not able to play. British journalist Dawn Neeson added, so Australian government said allowing Djokovic to play would make him an anti-vax hero. Quote, but by deporting him and potentially banning him for 3 years, they've made him a martyr. What a mess. Exactly. Raised his profile even more now. Because if you just said to him, gave him a concession and said, okay, we kind of stuffed up with the paperwork, you kind of stuffed up with your paperwork, but we don't want to increase the tension, we'll let you stay and play under restricted conditions. so you can still be here and compete. No, they said, we're going to cancel it, we're going to delay, we're going to cancel it again, we're going to let people increase the tensions while this whole mess plays out in courts. He didn't come here to excite an anti-vax movement. He came here to play tennis. Sky News just iterates exactly what this was about. The Chief Justice said it's an application to the court as a separate form of government to review a decision of a member of the executive, the minister, for the lawfulness or legality of the decision on the 3 grounds put forward. Mr. Alsop said the court dismissed with costs the grounds put forward by Djokovic's team that the cancellation of the visa was irrational or legally unreasonable. And obviously they ruled that it was not legally unreasonable, so Djokovic will now be deported. That's why I said before, it's not whether it was the right decision based on merits or wisdom, it was about the legality of the decision, which obviously they were never going to win because legally the government is allowed to do what they just did. So the full reasons will be handed down at a later date. Just one last quick thing on this. If you think Novak Djokovic, one person, is going to stop a country that is 78% fully vaccinated, basically. And if you look by states, they're 93.8% vaccinated, double vaccinated, and 95% single dose. And you even got a quarter of the people in New South Wales have their 3rd shot, their booster. And then in Victoria, you've got most of the people are 90% and above vaccinated. If you think this one person, this one player, Novak Djokovic, is going to suddenly stop millions and millions of people to not get, another vaccine, I think is ridiculous. Now, the internet is undefeated because as soon as this came out, people have been tweeting all this everywhere. No more reviews. His official review is out. Djokovic is done. So there you go. Official review, Novak Djokovic out of the country after losing this second appeal now in the federal court. Will not be playing in the Australian Open, and you'll be sent out of Australia and potentially, I think, not allowed back into the country for up to 3 years. So that's going to kill any Australian Open hopes for him over the next 3 tours. So that's everything for the Novak Djokovic saga as of right now. If you want to check out more videos on this saga, follow the timeline of what happened, you can check out my playlist here. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Share this video out there, and I'll see you in the next one.